Hello, here we are. We're getting ready to build a business plan in LivePlan. So we're going to go in. The first thing you get when you get into LivePlan is you get your dashboard. This is my account. These are other accounts of people that I have helped with their business plans. They roll off after a time, but for now these two are still on here. Now let's go to our account. You'll see there's no companies in it. We will create a new company and we'll say I'm starting a business. You can select any one of these and it will have sort of a custom path to guide you through, but since we're not going to use that custom path, we're not going to worry about it. Now, if you're going to use QuickBooks or Xero, you will be able to integrate those with LivePlan. So if you're going to use one of those two things or you're already using them, you would select yes here. I have a QuickBooks account, but it's already attached to my actual LivePlan account, so we're not going to use that here. We're just going to go through how to build a business plan from beginning to end and show you all of the options. Okay, so we're going to call this Thomas's Consulting Company. I'm going to use some of the AI features in here. Well, actually, there's only one AI feature, and I'm going to use it some, but not always, just to sort of give you a feel for how it works. I'm going to go very fast. I'm not going to create an entire business plan today. I'm just going to show you all of the options, and to demonstrate the options, I will be putting some things into a business plan. So the first thing we're going to do is it says keep this description short as a type of business. So the type of business that I'm going to be doing is a consulting, well, let's just say a multi-specialty services business. All right, so that's a consulting business. Am I working with anyone? Not for this particular plan. If I was, I could add them here and then they would be able to get permissions to come in and edit my plan or to just look at my plan and make comments. If you're working with me, you can choose to either give me plans to edit or give me permission to edit your business plan or just look at it. If you're a student of mine, you should at least give me permission to view and comment. LivePlan will send me a link to your plan and it will show up in my account just like those others that we saw earlier. But I'm not adding anyone at this time. So we'll move on. Yes, I want to follow the calendar year. I don't want to start till next January because it's difficult to keep track of months in the past and do all of that. So we're just going to start January 1. Now, there's a guided path to go through this and it's really good. So what you do is you come through here and then you work on each individual section. And when you get finished at the end of this, you have an entire completed business plan, and that's a great way to do it. We're not going to do it that way because I want you to see some features that aren't really easily seen in this look. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the business plan. We're going to deal with the plan, we're going to deal with the forecast, and we're going to deal with the pitch. These other sections you can explore and they're probably going to be very useful to you, but for our purposes, to get you started, this is what we need to do first. So write your business plan, hit get started. Now when we hit get started, I want you to notice that there's a section for an executive summary, and we're going to click start. I'm going to say we're done for now, and we're going to go to the opportunity section, and each opportunity section has a piece, and then there's an execution strategy or execution section, a company section, and a financial section. Now in the financial section, when you get down here, you're not going to put very much in here. You will put in your ownership and structure, the management, financial plan. You will put in key assumptions, use of funds and source of funds, but everything else will sort of be pulled in from other work that we do. So you won't end up having to actually do that, or at least you won't have to do it twice. You'll do it elsewhere in this. Okay, so now we have all of these pieces. Now to do a piece, I'm going to do the problem we're solving and our solution, and then move on to how to modify the plan. So problem worth solving. This we're going to do completely with the LivePlan assistant. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say my problem, or the problem I'm solving, is I help companies integrate AI tools such as large language models into Christmas their workflows. Okay, now we're going to ask this to rewrite it. And we're going to ask it to rewrite it and just auto-improve it. I specialize assisting companies seamlessly integrating. Okay, so that's nice. We'll replace the plan content. Now, let's make it longer just because we can. Now, we have a nice long paragraph here. Now, let's go through this paragraph. This is very important. You just had something that we call artificial intelligence that's not really intelligent. It just writes by figuring out what the next word is that fits. So you have no idea if this is true or not. So let's look at this. I specialize in providing comprehensive support to companies looking to integrate advanced AI tools, particularly large language models, into their current operations. Yes, that's true. My area of expertise focuses on optimizing the use of these AI tools to improve efficiency and productivity of diverse business processes. That is true. Their existing workflows and okay, so this part right here, I don't actually do this at this time, and I don't really do this at this time. I have partners that help with that, and I definitely don't write chat bots. So we're going to pull that out. Oh, we can't do that here. We have to replace the plan content first, and then we go in here, and where was that? So we're going to pull this part out up to this. I'm just going to delete it, and then we're going to change that to a capital. My expertise in integrating large language models can revolutionize. I really don't think, I mean, the AI stuff revolutionizes, but I'm not going to say I revolutionize anything, so I'm going to change that to improve. Okay, so we made one minor change to make sure we were telling the truth, and now we've got that section done. So that's the problem we're solving section, which we did with the help of AI. Let's do our solution, and we're going to do our solution without the help of AI. So let's say our solution, which is sort of encapsulated in the last section, but so I'm going to say we offer tailored consulting services, AI workshops, and custom-made online platforms that allow people easy access to AI and a clear clear path to AI mastery. And that's very short, but we're done. Now we've done these two sections. Now if this section, if I really like this section as it is, I can say, hey, it's done. If I don't really like this section, I could say it's in progress, or I can say, hey, this needs to be looked at. We need to do something about this. And then when I come back to it, I'll know, okay, that's one I need to work on. And this is important because a business plan is written iteratively. That it's written, you write it, then you write it again, you write it again, you write it again, and you will find yourself changing things. So this is a quick and convenient way to make sure you can mark things and have them ready. Now, you would work through all of these things and put stuff in here to get a complete business plan. This format over here is an outline, so let's look at just the outline. And the outline is laid out in a way to give people the type of business plan that you would typically present to an angel investor, a venture capitalist, or a bank. It has all of the most commonly needed parts and not a lot extra. Now, there are some things that you may choose to add because you think they're very important. For instance, for my business, I have a proprietary online platform, and I own that platform, and no one else can duplicate it because it's patent protected and has some copyright protections as well. So that makes that important. Those things fall under this tab over here of intellectual property. And you could take the intellectual property and you could talk about it in operations, or you could talk about it in company. I'm going to put it in operations. Let's put the intellectual property in operations. And you can, generally, if the information's in there, it's less important where it is than that you have it. Okay, so now we've added that. Now let's see if there's anything in here we don't need. So locations and facilities. We're an online and come to you service. We don't have a location or facility, so we're going to take that and we're just going to pull it out. Now, if you had content in there, it would just sit over here, and if you decided you needed it back later, you could put it back in the same place or a different place, which is pretty cool. Now, other things we might need. So in operations, I'm a big fan of, or not necessarily just that, but I'm a big fan with telling people in the plan how much things are going to cost and why. So I might put a pricing section either in the operations under, just maybe under marketing and sales, so that it has some support and then immediately goes into pricing. Or I might put that down in the financial plan. I like to keep my financial plan as clean as possible because, like I said, most of it's imported from financial statements. So I'm going to choose to put pricing up here. Now, it could be that there's something that you want in here that other people, that is not listed here at all. Probably the most popular thing to be done that way is mission, vision, and values. And so we're going to put that under company. And we have an overview, and then we're going to take a whole section, and we're going to drop the whole section in here, and we're going to call the section mission, we'll call it company philosophy. Let's do that. There we go. Now we're going to drop some custom topics in philosophy. We'll do this 3 times because for some reason we're going to be really detailed about this. And so we're going to have our vision, then we're going to have our mission statement, and we're going to have company values. And now we have a new section. And if we go back to looking at the plan to view and edit, we'll notice when we get into the company section, all of that new stuff is here. Anything we added shows up here, and now we can go in here and we can say our vision is to see farther with AI. And it's good that it's spelled wrong because it's dumb. Let's auto improve it. And it took the word out, but it knows what the word was, and we'll replace that. And then if we want to make this sound like a true 2010, 2020s vision statement, we're going to give it a professional tone, And then we're going to, all right, we'll use that, and then we're going to rewrite it again, and we're going to expand it so that it's nice and wordy. And I'm not even going to read this. I'm just going to put it in here. Don't do that with your business plan. I'm just doing this as an example to show you how the tools work. Okay, so that's how we write the plan. And that's how we make the plan our own using Edit Outline. Now, milestones is the last section, and we can put these in here. And this is things that we might say we want to do or we want to have done for a certain time. Like, let's say deploy deeply. Let's deploy our website. And who's responsible for this? We're going to put me, because everything's me. And we're going to set that, since we're starting on January 1st. January 1st is a Sunday. So, January 1st is a Wednesday. So let's set it for a couple days before, so we can have a couple days to beta test it. This is, website is live and ready for use. And we can put in as many of these as we want in the milestones. Then it will pull them later. So for our business plan, we have view and edit, we have outline, we have comments, we have milestones. Now if we look at view and edit, we go down here, we don't see the milestones yet. Okay, we do have the milestone table is at the end of execution. And if we look, it's here. And if we added 10 more, they would be here as well. All right, so that's the whole plan section. That's how you use everything in the plan that's usable, except for comments. Comments, let's say say I've got this and we're not really sure this is any good. So we come up here and select comment. If you've shared this with me, or if I've shared it with someone to give me feedback, we can put feedback in a comment. And now we have feedback. So if you come into a plan that somebody else is working on, a teammate or collaborator, or if I come into a plan as somebody who's a collaborator with you or an instructor, I can leave notes for you. And that's what this section's for. This is a dumb note, so we're going to delete it. All right, now that's it for the plan part. Now the forecast part. The forecast part works like, now you notice there's all sorts of there are all sorts of videos embedded here and instructions, not to mention there's instructions all over the web on how to do this. But for what we're doing, we could just walk into it. You come up at this overview sheet, which we're not going to use, but it's here. And you'll see that there's all of these parts that we put things in. So let's go through what they look like. The easiest way to get information into all of this is to use the Financial Tables tab. Under the Financial Tables tab, we can have revenue, costs, personnel, expenses, assets, taxes, dividends, cash flow assumptions, initial balances, and financing. So let's run through them quickly. Revenue. Revenue comes in different types. Let's look at the types that we have available for use. We're going to call, just to see the list, we're going to call this consulting hours. Consulting companies typically sell service by the hour. So now we have it. Let's add some details. So a consulting hour is a billable hour. So it's billable hours, and we're going to charge $300 an hour. Oops, I always do that. How many hours are we going to bill for? Let's say we're going to bill for 15 hours per month starting in January 25. We have a constant amount here for a number of billed hours. Now, actually, let's do varying amounts over time. Most months I'm in school. I'm a professor and I teach. So let's put in 15 hours a month for that. And then we're going to go to 25 hours in May because I don't work all of May. And then we'll go 25 hours, or we'll say 40 hours in June, 40 hours in July. No, we're going to go 80 hours in June, 80 hours in July. So that's 20 hours a week, which is not bad. And then we're going to jump down to in August, because we're going to start mid-August. We're going to jump back down to 25. And then September through December, we're going to do 15 hours. This is what, this is a realistic way that I'm actually going to spend my time. This is called seasonality, and it applies to most businesses. If you have a lawn care business, then you're going to mow more yards in June and July than you're going to mow in December. If you're up north and you run a snowplow business, your snowplow trucks aren't going to do much in June and July. Obviously, they're going to do a lot in November, December, January, February. So most businesses have some sort of seasonality. And if you're thinking about your business, you should figure out what is your reason for having seasonality and why is that. Now, another thing you can do is you can turn on annual change. And then I could just put in new numbers. And I could put in a percent change per month, and then it would go over and over. It would basically raise everything a certain percentage. If I were growing a business and committing to spending more and more hours doing this, I would do that, but I'm not. So I'm not. We'll do that with a different income type in a minute so we can see how that works. Okay, and we're going to charge, like I said earlier and tried to put in, we're going to charge $300 an hour. We can save and exit. Now, that is billable hours. Let's add a different type of revenue stream. We're going to call this revenue stream platform memberships. Or so let's just call it a subscription because it's a subscription. And there are various costs associated with the platform I have. I have a consumer rate, and I have a company rate, and then I have a rate that gets most of the things that most people use, and then I have a rate that has some specialty tools in it that people like consultants and strategy professors would use. Anyway, there's 4 different prices, and I could add each one individually, but for the sake of time, we're going to take a blended number. And what a blended number means is, let's say you sell let's say you have a vodka bar and you sell vodka. Some shots of vodka are probably $2. Some shots of vodka are probably $100. Your average shot of vodka might be $9, and that's a blended price. And that's what we're doing with these things. And how many customers do I expect to sign up? I expect to sign up about 25 seats or 25 individuals a month. And so we'll pick that. And how much is the recurring charge? Well, we have a $25 charge, a $50 charge, a $100 charge, and then there's a custom charge. So we're going to call $40 the average recurring charge. It gets charged every month. Constant amount, varying, and we'll charge an upfront fee. No, there's not typically an upfront fee directly. There's money that gets paid up front, but it's not a fee being associated with this. So next, and what is our churn rate? And that's the rate that people would drop out. We're going to say our churn rate is 10%. Okay, so now we've done that platform subscription, and we wanted to do varying customers over time, and the reason we want to do that is so that we can show this annual change percentage. So what I'm going to say is that we're going to do about the same number over each month. Ooh, I wish. Okay, but we do annual change percentage. We're going to say we're going to add 5% a year. No. Adjust 2026 values 5%. That's what I wanted. Let's see what we get. That's what apply. Well, this doesn't appear to be working today. So let's try that. Well, it's not working today. So 1.05 times this is going to be about 26. So we'll just make it 26 all the way through. Oops. All right, there we go. And then 27, let's just call it 325. Okay, there we go. Now that wasn't pretty, but it's done. And so we'll save and exit. And so we have consulting hours, platform subscription. Now let's add something that we just sell one of once at a time so we can see how that works. And we're going to call this our black belt program. And our black belt program runs somewhere between $25,000 and $50,000 depending on the size of the company. So let's say that this is a unit sale and we're going to sell 3 units per year. And we'll go at a constant amount, and we're just going to have, we're going to call it 30,000. And we're going to save and exit. Now, it'll be interesting to see how it does that. So, it may have spread that out over time for the course of the year. I'm not sure. We'll see when we look at it. When we look at a later screen how that worked. But anyway, I have 3 different kinds of revenue. Now, we're going to have some direct costs, very few of those, but we're going to have some. Now, here's another AI thing. Let's take a look at it. We are going to have direct costs, but let's see suggested direct costs. Oh, come on. So, consulting materials and supplies is definitely something. Presentation materials are the same thing. Computer hardware and software is, we're not going to use that as a direct cost, but it could be. And then there'll be travel expenses, professional membership, you continue. Okay, so I'm done, and we're going to add one more really quickly. We're going to call it belts because I issue legitimate, actual karate, taekwondo belts, and it's a constant amount. It's a cost for a specific revenue stream. The specific revenue stream is the black belt program. So each person going through this gets 8 belts up to 3 times, and they're maybe $30 a piece. So that's $240. And we run 3 black belt workshops a year, and we have 100 people maybe. No, because we didn't do a per unit cost on that. So let's say we run 100 people total, so it's 30. So we're going to call it $900 for the actual belts for a specific revenue stream. So that means each time we sell one of those 30,000 things, that's interesting. Revenue. Yeah, it's booking those in October, November, and December. Not sure why it chose to do that, but we can actually go in and fix that if we want to. Let's do the black belt program. Let's change that. Instead of having this show up that way, let's make it a varying amounts over time. And let's sell, we're just guessing right now, but we're going to sell 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Actually, let's sell 1 here and then none here. Delete. And then we'll sell this. Yeah, there we go. All right, so Now we've changed that. But let's go, oops, cancel, save. We didn't do year 2 and 3 when we did that, so let's go back and fix that. And we're not gonna make any improvements or changes at all. We're just gonna do it this way. Now we made no changes. All right, there we go. Now it looks more like what I would expect it to look like in the real world in real time. Anyway, we've now added all sorts of revenues, and we've got a couple direct costs. Let's add those in. Consulting materials and price. So let's attach those to a specific revenue stream of consulting hours. This is not entirely accurate, but let's say we're going to spend $10 per consulting hour on that. And now let's see the belts. See how the belts are directly associated with when we do the revenue. That's how that's supposed to be. So we have travel expenses. The travel expenses are definitely associated with the black belt program, because the other consulting is usually virtual or local, and I just don't do it. But the black belt program I travel for, and I budget up to $1,000 for each trip, and usually end up adding that in, and there's usually 8 trips, so it's $8,000, which I know sounds crazy, but it's usually not that much. But when we're making a business plan, we want to account for everything as well as we can. So there's that, and our expenses go up, and when we look at our actual balance sheets and so on, we'll see that. Okay, now personnel. Do we plan to have payroll or contract labor? Yes, we do. So let's have payroll, and we're going to add personnel, and we're going to add an admin, an administrative assistant as labor as regular labor, and an on-staff employee. Direct labor would be someone who was doing a specific thing for us, and they could tie their the money that we pay them directly to a thing. For instance, if I didn't do the black belt consulting workshops myself, and I had somebody else do them, I might pay someone a certain amount of money to do it, and then LivePlan would take that money every time one of those things was done. You can also have contract workers, which doesn't matter much on the front end, but basically instead of taking into account the fact that these people have Social Security taxes and income taxes and everything taken out, it just takes all the money and gives it to them when you pay them. We don't need to do that for this, but if you're hiring someone, if you've heard the term 1099 versus W-2, contract workers are 1099. That just means they write them a check and here you go. All right, but we're hiring one admin, and we're going to hire our admin, and we're going to pay our admin $20 an hour for 10 hours a week, which is $200 a week, which is about $800 to $900 a month, depending on how long it is. So let's just say we're going to pay $900 a month for our admin starting in January. And we're a startup. We're not going to be including raises at this time because I don't know that I'm going to be successful. You can choose to do that. You can also choose to add as many different employees as you wish. Your expenses, let's see what their suggested expenses are. So, and by the way, as long as it's accounted for, it doesn't matter so much where it is in these finances. Your accountant will tell you where it really goes. But some things will have more than one home. We're going to do a couple things here in expenses as demonstrations. We're going to do software subscriptions and business insurance. Your business needs business insurance. And we'll say that's it. There were more there, and there are definitely more I can think of. But we're going to do software subscriptions. We're going to put amounts. I spend about $150 on a month on various pieces of software that are directly related to my job. So there we go. Oh, oops. Starting January 25. There we go. Okay. Business insurance. Business insurance varies widely in price. I've had business plans that failed just because business insurance turned out to be so high. That's not common, but we live in the South, and if you want to build a shell building down here, you probably can't, because the insurance companies are charging such a high price for the possibility that a hurricane will blow it over, that it really makes it impossible to build a big building, a big shell building, and make a profit and pay the insurance. Anyway, our business is not that way. I think I can get away with $100 a month in business insurance, since I don't really have any products that I give away to people that might fail. And mostly it's just me giving advice, which I know doesn't sound like a lot. Anyway, and it'll cost $100 a month, and we'll start in January, and we'll categorize it as a other expense, and we'll take it and get it out of here. Now, you could also have, a company could have assets. Our company does not have any assets to speak of, but we could list them here. I'm not going to, sure. So current asset, that's an asset that's only going to last a year. Let's add a current asset, and we're going to call it a computer. Well, let's assume we're going to replace our computer every year. And we're going to spend $2,500 on a computer because we do big fancy computer stuff, and we need to have the latest and greatest in order for everybody to think that we're serious about our job. So I have $2,500 a month, and we're going to call it a current asset, which means they're going to depreciate it over a year, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to 12 months and create an exit. Now, when we look at the computer, January, we paid $2,500. At the end of January, it's worth this. The end of December, wow, that scrolled fast. There we go. The end of December, it's worth nothing. And then presumably we would buy a new computer and put it in here, but we're not going to add that at this time. Now, let's add a long-term asset. Let's say we're going to buy a Cybertruck exclusively for business, one-time amount. Let's call it $90,000. And let's say it's a long-term asset, which we can probably depreciate over 7 years. And at the end of 7 years, probably it will have a resale value, but we're not going to plan on reselling it. We're going to assume that it's fully depreciated at that time. So we complete an exit. There we go. So now we have that in place. At this point, we basically are saying we paid cash for that and we own it day one, which is not typically how things work. But that's what we're going to say for this, and we'll talk about other things as we get through this. Now, do we need to account for corporate or sales tax? Yes, we will need to be taxed. So let's say our estimated tax rate is 20%, and we'll pay that quarterly. This is our income taxes on any amount we happen to be profitable on. Sales tax, where you are may or may not have sales tax on things like this. I do know that we pay sales tax on platform subscription. I haven't collected sales tax on consulting hours or on delivering the Black Belt program, but on the platform we pay about 10% here in Mobile, and we want to be as accurate as we can, and we always want to err on the side of caution. That is, expenses we want to go high, revenues we want to go low. All right, so now we have both of our taxes done, and those will flow through to everything we do. Dividends, if we're going to pay out dividends, we would use this section, which we're not going to use because we don't know how profitable our company is going to be, and we're not going to plan to start paying ourselves a significant amount of money until after we're finished. Okay, cash flow assumptions. Let's look at these because there's a very specific set of assumptions. So the assumptions are accounts receivable, how long it takes to be paid, how much we're going to buy on credit, how long it takes to pay it, and inventory. So we're going to assume that half of our work gets sold on credit, and we pay for 30 days. And then on credit, we're going to say we don't buy anything on credit, so this number doesn't matter. We'll move it to 0, but it doesn't matter. If you don't buy anything on credit, there's nothing to calculate. Okay. So there we are with our cash flow assumptions. Next, initial balances. Well, we don't have anything right now, but let's assume we're going to start this with a little money in the bank. Let's say we're going to start it with $5,000 in cash in the bank for whatever we need. We're not going to start with any accounts receivable. We don't really have anything to inventory that we care about. All right, so when we jump ahead and we look at our statement of cash flows, we notice that the cash at the end of January, we've got $86,000, and the reason that we are negative $86,000, and the reason is that LivePlan is assuming, because of where I put in the truck and the computer, that we're paying for them in month one. That's why it looks this way here. Now, there's two ways to handle that. One, we can go back and we can change how we put it in, which is fine. But the other way we can do it is we can just say, okay, so since we obviously can't have negative cash, we're going to need some money to help get us started. So we go back to our financial tables, back to financing, and we will list some financing. And we'll say, yes, we intend to borrow, add new, we'll say a loan, and we're going to borrow a startup loan, which is not a thing, but this is just going to demonstrate how you would do it. We're going to receive it day one, and we're going to receive $100,000, which we're going to pay back over 10 years. How many monthly payments will you make? 10 years is 120 monthly payments. We're going to pay 12% interest, which sucks, but we're actually stating that we don't have any collateral, even though we would almost certainly just finance the truck, and we probably would have paid for the computer on a credit card. But for clarity, this is what we're going to do. Create an exit. Make sure this is going. It is good. Okay, escape. All right, now, so we've now gone through all of this, and because we've gone through and filled out all of these things, and we've thought about where our money comes from, we've thought about where we spend money directly related to our products and services. We've thought about the people we have to pay. We've thought about the other expenses we might have to pay. We've thought about assets, the things that we own. And you'll notice these got added. I don't think I added these here. If I did, I just added them for depreciation purposes. We've set up how we're going to pay our taxes. And you notice that in January, February, March, we don't pay anything. April, we pay our first bout of taxes. And then we pay them again in July, every 3 months, just like we said. We're not doing dividends, but we could, and then those would be reflected as well. And then we've put our cash flow assumptions in, we've added our initial balances, and we've added our financing. So we're kind of done with this statement. If we go back to the plan, we can see that if we go down here to the financial section, it will puts in our revenue, it puts in our expenses and our profit and loss, and it puts in our financial statements just like it's supposed to. We have 3 years of financial statements right here embedded in our plan, so we are set. We have a plan, we have the finances. Let's go back to the finances really quick and look at what we have here. We filled everything in here, but it created our profit and loss statement or our income statement. It created our balance statement, and it did it by month, just like we asked. So we have all of 25 and all of 26 by month. We can actually make it give all the rest of it by month, but there's no reason to. And we have a statement of cash flows. On a statement of cash flows, the most important thing is look at the cash at end of period and make sure that it's never zero, because if it's zero, they'll come and turn off your electricity or whatever bill you didn't pay. All right, so now we've got all of that, and we need to pitch it. So if we're going to pitch it, we go to the pitch section. Again, there's a nice little video that we can watch, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to jump in and get started. And we're just going to run through the sections really quick. Just kind of a headline. We make AI useful for you, you Luddite. No, that's horrible. We make AI useful for you and your business. All right. Continue. Let's go back to headline. Oh, it's not. Okay, continue. Whenever this is hidden, and if you don't want this in here, then you just check. You leave that checked. But there's a section on the page. We'll uncheck it so you can see where it is. We're not going to do the video, but you'll be able to see where it is. Talk about the problem we're solving, and we already did this work, so let's let it pull out. Client size. So this right here is because I was very generic in my description. So we can put this in here, but then we can say multidisciplinary consulting talent, and they lack the expertise to all right, there we go. Now we have something. We could be done, but let's auto improve it. Okay, that's fine. It just shortened it up a little bit. We'll put it in here, and let's see if we can. No, we don't want to do that. That was fine the way it was. I was wanting to use a different tool, but it doesn't want me to use the other tool. That's fine. So we've got that. Our solution, we offer premium consulting services as well as a made-to-order AI platform. Okay. Now we could change this to a short list, and we could put platform. Okay, that's enough. Target market, small and medium-sized enterprises with AI needs. Small and medium-sized enterprises with there we go. Okay, competitors. Let's add a competitor and competitor other consultants. AI. There are others, but we're not going to add them. Funding needs. I think we asked for $100,000. How are we going to use this to buy a truck? And sales channels, direct on LinkedIn. I guess that's the wrong eye. There we go. Direct on LinkedIn. Let's want this to be a list too. Advertising on socials, word of mouth, and paid referrals. Okay, there we go. Now, marketing activities. Weekly. I'm in a list mood right now, so we'll do that. Weekly free training in the basics. Social media outreach. Chamber of Commerce activities. All right, that's a good enough list to show our forecast. Our forecasts are already done. Our milestones are already done. Teams and key roles. Let's add a new team member. Ross Nelson. Title, founder, biography. I'm an AI rockstar. I could put in a picture, save and close. Continue. Partners, and let's add a partner. Let's just say we're not going to put a description. We're going to save and close. I'm done. Now, if we go here, you see here's the video thing. If we go back and we check this, we can hide this selection of the pitch. And let's go back over here to the pitch. There we go. Now it's gone, right? And we have these sheets. I guess I put in $100. I thought I put in 100,000. Whatever. Anyway, there it is. And back to the pitch. And we have something that's pretty useful for presenting. We can publish this web page by using this button and then send this web page out to people so that they can look at our company and have some background information. More importantly, we can hit this present and we export to PowerPoint. It creates a PowerPoint presentation very quickly, and we can save it. And once we save it, we can use it to give a presentation to anyone who might otherwise be inclined to invest in our success. So we'll pull this down so you can see what it looks like. It's plain, but once you save it to your computer, you can dress it up any way you want. You can rearrange the slide order and so on and so forth. Okay, so there you have it. That's the entirety of running through LivePlan. Obviously, there are details. And if you get stuck on something, please feel free to give me a call, write me an email, send me a text message, however you want to communicate, and I will do my best to help you out. Thanks so much for your time.